So, if you weren't aware, Sony just announced yet another price hike for their entire family of PlayStation consoles. So yeah dude, grab your quote-unquote cheap consoles while you can, because starting April 2nd, even a digital PlayStation 5 is gonna cost you a kidney at $600, and God help you if you want an even marginal upgrade with the Pro version. And no, I didn't catch the surprise Pikachu face on this one. I kinda expected that this was a direction that gaming was going for some time now. Thankfully, I upgraded my PC before RAM prices skyrocketed, so I could play my dating simulators at 4K. Now I'm just sitting here watching the AAA gaming industry completely implode on itself, because that's exactly what's happening right now. We have these massive publishers asking gamers to shell out half a month's rent just for the privilege of turning on their console. And for what? So we can play more live service nonsense that gets deleted from the game store 2 weeks later. It's completely backwards, dude, and it just goes to show how disconnected these executives are from the people that actually buy their products. They jack up the prices on hardware while also watering down the software, so the entire gaming industry is turning into a bag of Lay's potato chips. And you want to know what the real kicker is? Well, Big Daddy Sony is out here asking you to empty your pockets for a $600 digital box. They're still actively shutting down the talented people who actually make the games. Reports came out that PlayStation is reportedly shutting down yet another first-party studio. Yeah, remember back when they shut down Bluepoint Games, the guys that made the Demon's Souls remake that launched with the PlayStation 5? The studio everyone loved and was hoping would go on to make Bloodborne as well. Now they've also shut down Dark Outlaw Games. Now these guys were a bunch of ex-Call of Duty developers, and we don't really know what they were making, but I can make an easy guess that it wasn't a live service game, because it doesn't seem like Sony minds wasting their money on those. Like, dude, are you kidding me? They're bleeding money chasing these dying multiplayer trends, trying to find the next Arc Raiders or Helldivers 2, and when they inevitably fail because nobody asked for a bubbly Fortnite-looking Horizon game, they just take the hatchet to the developers, the talented people who just want to make a good game. Concord literally died in 14 days and flushed $200 million down the drain. Marathon's player counts on Steam are completely nosediving into the low 20,000s right now, and instead of taking a step back and realizing that they should return to making the single-player narrative experiences that actually built the PlayStation brand, they just fire more people and raise the price of the plastic box you play on. It's like poetry, really. It's a cycle that rhymes. They hype up some live service trap, milk the remaining casuals, shut the game down, fire the good talent, and pass on the financial losses onto us with a new console price hike. So I guess they figured they're gonna rob our wallets one way or another. Meanwhile, Nintendo is cutting back on Switch 2 production because people just aren't buying the thing. It seems like outside of Japan, nobody is really checking for a more expensive box that does exactly what the older, cheaper box does, but it has a handful of extra exclusives. Like, I know Nintendo usually prints money, and we just let their fans enjoy their Mario Tennis and Pokopia, but even they're hitting a wall right now. I mean, at least with the PlayStation 5 and the inevitable $1,200 PlayStation 6, there's hype around the cutting-edge visuals and technology. So despite Sony turning their backs on creating the single-player masterpieces that built them up in the first place and switching to garbage live service games, there's at least a purpose to owning the PlayStation console itself for people who are really into the future of gaming tech. The same applies to Xbox fans, as Xbox pushes the boundaries of what console gaming even is on a software level. But the Switch 2 just seems like an expensive barrier to playing more modern versions of games that you were already playing on the Switch 1. It's basically just the exact same console, but now it costs more and the screen is bigger. And I guess there just isn't very many people in this current economy that are rushing out to drop that kind of cash on what is essentially a minor spec bump when inflation is, well, going through the roof. Parents are exhausted and would rather put the money into a cheaper product for their kids. So this is mostly a late teenager to adult audience you're marketing to here. And we're all tired, dude. Gamers are tired of being treated like walking ATM machines who get minimalistic products in return. And this next one personally hits a little home for me. Epic Games just laid off 1,000 developers because Fortnite is losing money. And it's not personal because I actually care about Epic Games or Fortnite. It's personal because I enjoy the free games I get from the Epic Games Store every month, and I would hate to see that go away. I mean, I have like 2 copies of that Dumpster Fire Suicide Squad game just sitting in my library because I bought one for $5, then Epic gave me another one for free. You know what, actually now that I think about it, I think that they were trying to assassinate me. But really, 1,000 layoffs is pretty insane. Like, how many people does it take to create content for a game years post-launch? Like, Fortnite came out back in 2017, dude. They're just making DLC for it at this point. You're telling me that you need thousands of employees to figure out how to put Peter Griffin and Goku into a battle royale map so that they can hit the gritty? What are the rest of these people even doing? I imagine it's just 900 people sitting in a Zoom meeting discussing how to appropriately price a neon pink pickaxe while the remaining 100 actually code the game. These studios have gotten so bloated and so massive that they required a budget of a small country just to keep the lights on. So of course, a nearly 10-year-old game can't sustain studios this large. It reminds me of when Sony bought Bungie for around $3 billion and got the surprise Pikachu face when they realized Destiny 2 revenue was going down the toilet. They dumped billions of dollars into a studio that was already bleeding players, enabled said studio to pivot to a $200 million live service extraction shooter that literally no one asked for before it was announced. And now they're panicking because they aren't seeing an immediate return on their multi-billion-dollar investment. Like, what did you think was gonna happen here? Take a look at the indie and AA scene right now compared to these bloated AAA disasters. Slay the Spire 2 came out at a third of the price of these $70 AAA games and racked up 500,000 concurrent players within a week. A cartoony deck builder game is pulling numbers that Bungie and Sony would literally kill for right now. Or just take a look at Clear Obscure Expedition 33. That game looks like it had a $300 million budget and it only cost them $10 million to make. They didn't need thousands of developers sitting around in boardrooms trying to figure out how to maximize player retention through daily login bonuses. They just had a small dedicated team that wanted to tell a gripping story with provocative subject matters and cool turn-based mechanics. And it sold 5 million copies and won awards because it actually respects its players' time. Oh, and their money too. But you understand the problem here. The industry is getting out of hand. Executives are betting the farm on milking live service trends, and when they crap out, innocent, talented developers are the ones who get punished for it. It's absolutely depressing to watch. The guys making the decisions, the ones looking at the spreadsheets and forcing these predatory microtransactions into every single game, they're gonna be just fine. They get their golden parachutes and they move on to ruin the next company. But the actual boots on the ground, the developers, the coders, the artists, the writers who poured their blood, sweat, and tears into these projects, they're the ones hitting the unemployment line. I remember reading about a developer from Highguard who was devastated when the game got shut down just weeks after launch because the team had so many cool ideas for their project, and for as much as I disliked Highguard, I respect that kind of passion. But they never got the chance because the game was forced to live in a live service hero shooter box, lost 99% of its players in a week, and got yanked offline. The AAA gaming crash isn't just coming, dude, it's already here. Between the hardware price hikes, the massive studio closures, the thousands of layoffs, and the sheer refusal of these executives to just make complete video games, the industry is literally imploding on itself. And honestly, I'm kind of glad it's finally happening. Maybe once the dust settles and these publishers get their hands burned enough times, they'll actually start listening to the gamers who buy their products. But until then, I'm just gonna sit here in front of my PC and play things I'm too embarrassed to tell anybody about. Anyway guys, this is RageWatch, and if you've stuck around this long, consider subscribing to hear more of my cringeworthy takes on video games. I'm out. Thanks for watching.